Love this. You could actually just not have that light on your account.
I hate to be in front of you. I ain't gonna tell you. I really do.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I don't have the bell today, so I did not go to get that. So just thought I'd just do a little knock. But thank you all for being here. It's so nice to be on this beautiful campus, and we really always look forward to this program every year. It's really so welcoming and so pretty, and so a great way to. I know we're a little bit earlier this year coming here, but what a great way to start our season of Thanksgiving with such a great program today. So. We'll go ahead and get started. And as Reverend Ashley Jenkins comes to do our invocation, please remember Charlene McClanahan in your thoughts and prayers. She was in an accident yesterday, and so I don't have any other details really, but please do keep her in your thoughts and prayers.
I've asked a few students to help me with the invocation. So students, if I've asked you, then come up. And if I didn't ask you, then I don't need you. I didn't realize there were going to be as many students as there are. Yeah, just come up next to me.
Okay.
When I was a student here, one of the professors had the whole class over for dinner one evening, and they had a tradition at their house that every night, instead of a traditional kind of blessing, that they all shared something that they were thankful for. And so I've asked these students to come up and share something that they're grateful for today. And at the end, then I'm going to ask all of us to say together, and don't worry, I'll remind you, God, we thank you for these many blessings. So I'll get Laurel to start it, and Isaiah, you'll be on the tail end. And so you'll come up one at a time and share something you're grateful for.
I'm thankful for my family and my boyfriend.
I'm thankful for this beautiful community that I'm a part of, and beautiful people. Get to learn a lot from them.
I'm thankful for the opportunity and the ability to perform. I'm thankful for the LaGrange College Nursing Department.
I'm thankful that I finally found my major and what I'm meant to do with my life.
I'm thankful that God will be on today. God is good. I'm thankful for my family and the opportunities they've given me to this point.
And I am thankful that 20 years ago, the Rotary Club in Duluth gave me a scholarship to come here. And I think about students here that receive scholarships that are able to come to school here. So we're going to say, God, thank you so much for all these many blessings. God, thank you so much for all these many blessings. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Jenkins. And you probably figured it out. I think I failed to say this, but she is the college chaplain here. So thank you again. Will you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Have a few quick announcements before we get started with our program. Birthdays, Dell Jackson's birthday is tomorrow, November 7th. Taylor Merrill has a birthday on Saturday, November 9th. And Coleman Foss has a birthday on Sunday, November 10th. So happy birthday to all of you. Club member anniversaries, John Harrell, 11 years today. So John's here. Kendall Butler, 12 years on the 7th. John Zapola, he's here with us today, 6 years on the 7th. And Marquette Baker, 20 years on November 10th. One wedding anniversary, Jerry and Carolyn Winans, 56 years, wow, on Sunday, November 10th. And then we have a couple of club announcements. I believe, Barbara, do you want to give an update on the Polio Plus disaster relief? John, do you want to give us an update on the blood drive?
Blood drive went well. We had, I believe it was a dozen donors on Friday, but I've spoken with the supervisor of that. We're trying to reach out around Coleman where we actually have to drive and push a little bit more rotary and try to fill up our next blood drive. They are counting on one accord. I'm gonna see if I can get some dates so we can populate our calendars. Everything is good.
Thank you, John. Yep, the introduction of visitors and guests, we're going to do that in a little bit as part of our program. But if you are a visitor or guest, we would definitely invite you to join us again next week. We'll be back at Highland Country Club, but we'd love to have you as a Rotarian. So at this time, it is my pleasure to turn the program over to Joe Ragland.
Thank you, Connie. And thank you, LaGrange College and Aramark, for such a delicious lunch today. I'm sure every meal at the CAF is as good as it is today. I made that comment at my table and they very politely agreed, but I think they said that it's very good, but maybe not quite as good as it is today. Thank you all for being here. I want to, of course, we're here to talk about the Walter Y. Murphy Scholarship that the Rotary Club of LaGrange started in honor of Dr. Murphy back in 1997. That was part of our 75th anniversary, and I think our club is approaching 102 now. During that time, let's see, 22% of our current members are designated as Walter Y. Murphy Fellows. And since its inception in 1997, we have 175 Rotarians that have donated to the scholarship. And we have 105 past and present members that have reached the distinction of the Walter Y. Murphy Fellow. Today, we're going to recognize the members that have made contributions in the past year and those that are receiving their pins. Just to remind everyone, if you contribute $1,000, then you receive your white pin. $2,000 is your red pin. $5,000 is gold, and $10,000 is platinum. And this year, and for the past several years, and also next year, there are funds available in a matching grant from the Callaway Foundation. Callaway Foundation has been very gracious in helping us fund this scholarship fund. To date, we have received about $107,000 from the Callaway Foundation. Most recently, in the most recent match, and there's about another 43 available that will be matched with the donations that we recognize this year, and then we'll do it again next year, and hopefully reach that match that expires next year. I do want to recognize a few people that are here today. Julie and Mark Huckstep, thank you for being here. Thank you. Julie is the daughter of Dr. Murphy, Mary Ann Murphy. We're sorry Mary Ann is not able to be here today. Yes, but thank you for being here and representing the family. Dr. Murphy, he was actually the president when I went to college here in the 80s. One little story about that. When I was here, I worked on the maintenance crew back before National was what took it over. And one day we had some hand clippers, and part of my job was cutting the grass and clipping the hedges and doing things like that. And up on the quad, we had some azalea bushes, and I was clipping the azalea bushes, and Dr. Murphy came running out of his office there, like, stop, don't cut, you're cutting the buds. And so he explained, he gave me a little lesson in horticulture. I think he loved his azaleas. Yes. We are also grateful to have Faye Edmondson with us. Yeah. And representing Mayor Edmondson, thank you for being here today. I do want to recognize the members that have made a contribution in the past year. And I'm just going to go down our list, and then later we will make presentations of the pins. But contributions since the last year, I'll just start with myself, Dr. Susanna Baxter, Ted Beeson. Ted is already a platinum member and continues to give to the fund. Mayor Willie Edmondson. I just happened to be sitting at the table with Mayor Edmondson. It wasn't too long after this meeting last year. This was like in December of last year. And little did I know that may be the last time that I got to see him. So unsolicited, he said, I want to make a contribution to the Walter Y. Murphy Scholarship Fund. He said, I believe in helping the youth and believe in scholarships, and just, wrote a check right there on the spot, and just, has been a huge supporter. And we're so grateful to him, and it is such a huge loss for our community not to have him around. What a wonderful leader and man that he was. Father Tim is, I think he may not be here today, and I'm sorry that he's not. He would be receiving a pin today. And we understand he was certainly aware of this meeting, but church duties sometimes do call him away. Jake Jones has also been a contributor this year, and Jake, I think you were very close to a milestone level. So thank you. Kay Minshew and Jaja Hurd, thank you. We will recognize you in just a moment as well. And Marianne Murphy has made a contribution. So we want to thank her for that contribution that she has made over the past year. And of course, the Callaway Foundation, the matching grants that you provide, Trip and all of the trustees, we want to thank you for this and all the many ways that you support LaGrange College. So thank you all. Without your contributions, there would be no Walter Y. Murphy Scholarship Fund. Dr. Murphy, of course, he was past president of LaGrange College, past president of this club, as well as a district governor. So I know two of his loves were LaGrange College and Rotary. So it was quite fitting that we decided to honor him with this scholarship. So I'd like to call on Andy Geeter, our Director of Development, there he is, right here behind me, to help us with hand out some pins for the people that have reached this level this year. So the ones receiving the white pins, Father Tim, we will have to give that to him next week. Understandably, he's not here today. And Mayor Whitley Edmondson, Faye Edmondson, would you please come up and accept this pin on behalf of the club in honor of Mayor Edmondson? And as I call your name, if you don't mind, I'm sure we want to take some pictures. Just remain up here for a moment. One's receiving the red pin, Jaja Hurd. Dr. Susanna Baxter. And myself. Right?
And you.
Congratulations. And Kay Minshew, will you please come forward? Kay is receiving her gold pen. And I'm sure someone may direct me and say, maybe we should all come back up here for a photo. Are we afterward? All right, we'll do it afterward. Okay. Well, then Dr. Baxter, I would like to turn it over to you to tell us more about the scholarship and the students here.
Well, good afternoon. It is wonderful to have you here today. I'd like to ask the Rotaract students to stand. We have many of them in the audience today. And Laurel, we're appreciative of you and what you've done in the leadership of this group, and appreciate all of you and your commitment to service above self. So thank you for being a part of Rotaract. You may be seated. It is great to have you here on campus. I know that it's a little more cumbersome than the country club to drive, but I hope the food made up for it today. So thank you for being here and letting us host you. The scholarship, the Walter Y. Murphy Scholarship Fund, has grown from the initial investment of $134,761 to its current value of over $547,000. Now, how does that translate? Well, it means that the average award for this year for students was over $6,100 per awardee. Since 1997, over $259,000 have been awarded to students here at LaGrange College. In total, 122 recipients of the Walter Y. Murphy Scholarship Fund. I'm pleased to introduce to you several of those individuals. If you would come forward, Michael and Colin, come on. I would like for them to introduce themselves, guys. You want to share, or sorry, the third is here, sorry. We want you to major, there's something fun about you want to share, what sport, I'm gonna put you on the spot. They knew they were gonna do this, but come up, Colin, and get us started.
Hey, everybody. My name's Colin Jones. I'm originally from Duluth, Georgia. I'm a sports management major here at LaGrange College, and I'm a member of the baseball team.
Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for coming out. My name is Michael Hoff. I'm a senior accounting major, originally from in Georgia, so not that far away. I guess that's my fun fact.
Hello, my name is Delano Bear. I'm originally from Gainesville, Georgia, and I'm currently minoring in aviation and a part of the football team.
And gentlemen, I think it's fair to say, without the Walter Y. Murphy Scholarship, this would be a really hard place. That was a significant scholarship. And so thank you for saying thank you to these individuals, because your donation helps make their dreams come true. So thank you so much. Great to see you. Now, so that you know a little bit more about these students have to meet certain standards. They have to have a 3.2 GPA. They've got to embody the spirit of Walter Y. Murphy. And so we appreciate what you have done in doing that and being impactful on this campus. Want to give you a little bit of an update of the college while I've got your attention. It's been a minute, and I also want to share a special appreciation for those that serve on the Board of Trustees for the college. So if you serve and are a Rotary member, will you please stand? That our enrollment is up so significantly this year. 815 students enrolled at your LaGrange College. Now, one of the ways in which we did that was expanding and into our first doctoral degree an education doctorate with 30 students in the cohort, exceeded our expectations for year one. We can't wait for year two of this program. It's important for you to know that that program was not just something we thought of on campus. It is something that was asked for by the community. Started with the conversations with Dr. Shoemate and others in neighboring counties that said, we don't have this level of expertise. We trust the LaGrange College way of doing things. We'd like you to consider doing this. And we were able to do it. We also, within our population, grew our clinical mental health counseling program. And I wanted to highlight that for you because that's a critical need. We talk about the need, the growing need for clinical mental health counseling in our area. And the college is helping fill that void. And I'm pleased to say that we had 94% growth in that program. So the next time when I show a graduation picture, they're not going to be in one line because there's a whole lot more of them. And that means more students out in this community and in Georgia and Alabama helping children and families and couples stay together. And that's really impactful work for our world at this time. So I'm pleased that LaGrange College is able to do that work. Now, one of the things that you need to know about the college is we're very focused on listening to what our region needs. So as we have grown, we've been very smart about that growth and attacked it from the perspective of what are we hearing. So I've already talked about the education doctorate in that way. We added a master's in higher education focused on persons who wanted to work at a small to mid-size faith-based institution. That sounds a little self-serving, but there are not programs like that in this country. If you want to do what I did, so when I went to college, I fell in love with college, I wanted to do college, I needed to go to graduate school. I ended up at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's a very different reality than any place I've ever worked. Or I could have gone to a large public, again, a different reality. So we have this program designed to help people sustain places like LaGrange College who understand this model of education. Oh, sorry. We also added a master's in computer science. It's going to start in January. And then the undergraduate degree will start in August. And the reason for that came from a conversation in this very room with our industry partners here in Troup County that talked about what they needed from an employee base. And computer science was one of those major areas. And we thought we have a role to play. Another degree that we added was an Associate of Arts degree. And that also sprung from really two places, but in this very room, in that same conversation with those HR directors who said, listen, there's jobs in the plant that we want to advance people to, but you need to have some of these essential skills or soft skills. And we find that the candidates that best meet that have an associate's degree. Can you help us with that? We thought, certainly. And if you're a part of Troup Strategy Center, you've heard the data. We don't have as many associate's degree holding individuals in this county as other counties. We need to improve in that measure, and we thought LaGrange College had a role in that. We've also added certificate programs, and you all know about aviation. It's really taken off. You just met an aviation student there. We've got 8 students enrolled in the program this fall. 7 more are enrolled now, but will start their aviation classes this spring. We're excited about what this has meant for our campus. And this picture right here, Isabella, she is actually about to finish up her instructor's license. So she will be able to instruct next year as a student, continue to get her flight hours while she teaches other LaGrange College students. It's really exciting. What's super exciting as well is that Delta came this summer to check us out. They wanted to know more about LaGrange College because they didn't know anything about us. Why would they have before? And they were very generous and gracious with their time. They came, they met with prospective students, those that had, and their parents who were going to come this fall and currently enrolled. And they talked about, well, how do you get to Delta? Because Delta would be the ultimate, how do you work your way there? And what are the things that you have, the skills you need to possess when you get there? And the things that they talked about really had very little to do with flying. And so that's not what we're going to ask you about. We're going to ask you about volunteering. We're going to ask you about service. We're going to ask you about leadership. We're going to ask you about working in a team. And as they began to outline that for the students, what became crystal clear to all of us in the room was score liberal arts. We do all those things. Service is one of our core values. Civility is another one of our core values. Those align well with what Delta talked about they wanted. And they were very happy with how we had structured our program. So we're beginning to have conversations about other things that we do. Delta does more than fly planes, right? They need accountants, they need people in HR, they need other individuals. So how can we have our students plug in to Delta to be of greater opportunity there for them and for our students? So that's been a wonderful conversation to have. I'm excited to announce that we are starting a manufacturing engineering technology major come the fall of 2025. Now that might sound like a whole lot of gibberish, but I want you to look at your table and everything you held today and drank from. An engineer walked around and made sure it got off safely, off that line, that glass is smooth, that glass isn't going to crack if you hold it too tight. The quality of those items, how it is manufactured. This is a BS degree, a Bachelor of Science degree, that our individuals will have that will allow them to get these critical jobs that we don't have enough people. 2 summers ago, there were, Kia had 40 positions needing this degree with nobody there. And that's when we started these conversations. What has been fun as we've been meeting with these manufacturers and many more is they're already fighting for graduates we don't even have enrolled in the program yet. Like, you're not letting them get everybody, right? What's your capacity? Because we can see this really growing. Build it and you bring it and we will build it. So it's exciting to think how we're going to be serving this community in the workforce. We're listening and we want to partner. And if there's other ideas coming from your area, things that we need to do, let's be in conversation with each other. Because for LaGrange College to thrive, our community needs to thrive. And our community thriving, I think LaGrange College can be a big piece of how it does. Also thankful to people like Norma and others that said, how can we partner? How can we partner? And Norma kept talking to me about it. And luckily, not because I did anything, she figured out a way to do it. And so you might have seen around town these discount cards. So you can go to Scoops, for example, and you can get a discount if you show your ID, if you're a LaGrange College student, and get some delicious ice cream or chocolates. We also have around town, you might see these stickers of alumni-owned business so that you understand the impact. You can see, well, this was a LaGrange alum who owns this business and the impact our graduates are making in this community. We're grateful to the Downtown Development Authority for making that possible. Because Jake's here, I'm going to talk about football because he was bored until now. Now he's tuned in. We're winning. Yes. We are having the best season that we have had in a really, really long time. Our last home game is next week. I hope you will make a point to bring your grandchild out or yourself, your spouse, whomever, and come cheer on your home team. We are having a phenomenal season. We also do other sports. Soccer, baseball. So we invite you to come to those too. Basketball is about to start. And we encourage you to come. It's free to come into those games. So it's great free entertainment. Bring good family fun, clean atmosphere, grateful, or as best we can, students, clean atmosphere for our fan base. So we are grateful for your support and want to encourage you to continue to come out and support other sports. Flag football will start this spring. It's a spring sport for college. And so we hope you'll come out for our inaugural season for that event. There's other things that we do out in the community that you might be interested, or on campus for community members that you might be interested in. We have a program of learning and discovery and then travel, but you don't have to travel to do the learning and discovery part. Every year, we take a group of people abroad and we study the culture and the history. This is me in a cooking class. I've decided I want to roll pasta the rest of my life. That was a lot of fun. I have not been able to perfect it at home, but I've tried. But the boys were like, this is like eating worms. Didn't quite get it as thin as I needed to, but we had fun. We're going to go to Scotland this year and hope that you will come and explore. The lectures, you have something on your table about it. The lectures happen each month and they're free, and you'll learn about the culture or the music or the history or the art of Scotland. Each month, you don't have to come to every single one of them. And if you want to travel, those are the dates that we're traveling, and there's still a few spots left. If you want to travel with the group, we would love to have you join us. So why is Troup County so important? Well, it's important, and why in LaGrange College, 23% of our alumni stay right here. I was recently talking to a couple and we're about to, well, they just got married, and both have decided they met here at the college. They're not from LaGrange College, or from Troup County, but they fell in love with LaGrange, and they decided this is where they want to start their married life. Those stories we hear over and over again. I joke with some people, like, try to go to the hospital, like live a day in LaGrange and not run into LaGrange College alone. It's hard to do. If you're at the hospital, that's the hand caring for you through our nurses. If your children are in the schools, it's those teachers that we help train that are in those classrooms. We make a significant impact here in the community. You can see we had 3 of our graduates recognized in the 20 under 40 category this year. And I want to talk about that class of 2024. One of the things that you need to be proud of, and I know you've probably noticed the banners as you've driven by, that U.S. News and World Report has put us in the top spot again, or the top category. We're pleased with that, being in a competition with 90 plus institutions, that we're in the top group. We're happy about that. But we're also and most happy about what our students do. And 87% of the class of 2024, when they crossed the stage at graduation, had a job offer or were into graduate school. Now, those nurses, they went, anywhere they wanted. CHOA, Wellstar, they're gainfully employed. Georgia Hospice. We had those that went into nonprofit work to help serve this community and more. Accountants that went into accounting firms. We had those that went into OT at school and law school, and we had those that went into accountancy and different tax accountancy, in fact, and other ways in which to be in business, whether it be marketing or entrepreneurship, sales. We're proud of our students. I'm thinking of one particular student who was a member of the class of 2024. Her name is Lindsay, and I called Lindsay in September and said, Lindsay, do you have a concept yet of what the college may have done for you? Because I know my concept of undergrad, it's really changed over the years, and I've come to appreciate it even more with each passing year. And she said, oh yeah, I can already tell you. And I said, well, tell me more. She said, well, I got to tell you, I come from a great family, and she has loving household, all of that. She said, but my parents made decisions that meant they didn't prioritize making money. They prioritized family time. And so in that, we didn't have any money for college. So I'm looking like, what am I going to do? Because I know they've already said, and I know the reality of our family. If I'm paying for this place, it's on me. She said, so I applied multiple places, got into LaGrange, liked LaGrange, didn't think I could afford it, got a nice scholarship, I could come. She said, but I was laser focused on that degree because I wanted my life to be different. And she was an accountant. She said, I'm laser focused, and I'm talking laser focused. She also has just paid off her undergrad debt. That was September, you graduated May. Wow, because she worked nonstop. I know, to get this paid off. Aspiration, aim for it. It's possible. Said, but one night, and you'll remember this, President Baxter, we were sitting in the chapel together. And we were in the chapel because we were waiting to tell students that 2 of their loved ones, their classmates, had died. And we sat in that space. She said, as we were weeping, she said, I realized I had my priorities wrong. That it was these relationships. And if I didn't wake up and choose to live my life differently and take advantage of everything this college had to offer and all of my friendships, I wasn't going to live the life I needed to live. So she changed. And she didn't lose sight of her focus, but she expanded her interest area. And she said, here's the deal with LaGrange College and the beauty of this place, that you all encouraged me and allowed me to make mistakes. And then you surrounded me and helped me and mentored me so that I'm going to reach my dream. She's engaged now to that baseball player whose hand she was holding that night. She's making different choices than she would have before. Now, I could tell you many different Lindsay stories. This place changes people profoundly. And the Walter Y. Murphy Scholarship is one of the ways you start that transformation so that these young men could come and have exposure to coaches, to aviation, to things that will change the trajectory of their lives and the way they prioritize their lives. So thank you. It's a check, it's easy to do, it may not feel meaningful, but I want you to remember Lindsay's story. And Lindsay absolutely couldn't have come here without your help. And her life is profoundly different. And she would say, better, because of this place. I know we have other alumni in the room, and if you are an alum of the college, will you stand? These are folks, students you want to get to know because they can share their own story of impact of this place. One of the great joys of being a president is I get to hear all these stories, and we just came off of homecoming, and boy, can I tell stories. Many of them I really can't repeat or don't want to, of some of the impact that we transform lives differently these days than we did in the 70s. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But that care transits across. And I got tickled at homecoming as I'm listening to somebody and they're talking about Dean Love. Those that were here may remember Dean Love. And he said, you know what, Dean Love, he kind of accepted that I made mistakes. And boy, he helped me, including getting him out of jail. And he said, I couldn't have done it without this place. And it occurred to me that that was many generations, 50 years apart. I'm hearing the same story about this place. And allowing a student to make a mistake and learn it. And I tell you, as a parent, I would rather them learn it here than in the workplace when they lose a job because of something. So I'm grateful for this place and for you and for all that you have done. So thank you very much. If we have time for questions, I'll take a few. I'm getting the nod. We do. We have about 5 minutes. Any questions?
I think I know the answer, but because I heard you speak at the breakfast a while back. But what's the percentage of the students that stay in LaGrange that come here to go to school and then stay? I know it varies by major, but overall?
Overall, we're tracking about 23% right now that choose to stay.
What's the average cost per student?
Well, Jake, that depends. Just over 20,000, and if it's a residential student for total. That doesn't, then you have Pell and other scholarship aids. It may be of interest to you. Pell is the federal need-based aid scholarship program. 61% of our student body receives some level of Pell. So there's full Pell and then increments. So 61% of our total population receives the federal need-based aid grant. 51% of our freshman class let me rephrase that. 51% are full Pell. So we have a population where scholarship aid is absolutely critical for, and that's why we spend, we're thrilled that others, Joe and the Rotary, right, are so invested in yourself in donating to the Walter Y. Murphy Scholarship Fund.
Because I happen to sit next to one of my daughter's peers in high school. What's the percent of your freshman class?
That are local? That's a great question that I don't know the answer to. I don't know if anybody else, I don't have my enrollment team in. A growing percentage, I know last year, last fall, we had upped it. I think it was around 20% or so. I don't know what this fall is. We have a number of people who don't stay, all right? They don't want to be, we're too local for them, we're too close to home. We find that if students will live on campus, they report that it feels like an entirely different experience. They don't have a sense they're in LaGrange even when they're up on the hill.
And then also, Georgia versus other states versus.
Okay, the majority of, well, let me start with housing first. We're at 88% capacity, right, this year on housing. I think it's 465 that are in housing. So just a little bit more, we have just over 500 beds available on campus. If you picture the state of Georgia, and if you take Gwinnett County and scrape down I-85, the bulk of our students come from that corridor. We are the first institution, if you're leaving the state of Florida, that you're going to come to if you want to play NCAA D3. Florida doesn't have D3 teams. So we find that the Panhandle and Jacksonville, that area up, is interested in us because you grow up dreaming of the NCAA, and that we can be a reality for those students. Of course, so close with our proximity to Alabama, we have students there. We have students from more than that, but it's like one student from Massachusetts, one student here, but that's the bulk of our population. And then from an international perspective, we have several international students here today. And so those students, we hope to grow that population more over time. But since I've been here, it's been between 8 and 15 students every year that end up coming in, give or take. I think that's about right this year. Yeah.
This is not a question for you, but who here was in the Mr. Oz production?
Yes.
I think one was a fantastic production, and one of the best shows that I've seen here on campus. And I would just recommend to anyone, if you get an opportunity to see a show at the Grace College, please take it up. Enjoy. That was great. Thanks.
I will stop because I'm going to get the hook. There is a Christmas concert. Is it December 3rd?
Yes.
December 3rd in Callaway Auditorium at 7 o'clock. Thank you. Y'all are great. The students are great. They're giving me everything, all the information I need through hand gestures. 7 o'clock, free, I believe, to the public, and we can max that space out at over 700 people. So plan your date night already. The music is going to be fantastic. There will be other community people joining the choir as well. So there'll be joint numbers and single numbers and solos. So please, it would be a wonderful way for you to start your Advent season with us. Okay, thank you so much.
Dr. Baxter, it's always so nice to hear an update from the college, and it's exciting to hear all the great things that are going on. And now we can go back out into the community and share these things with everybody else as well, or talk about the enrollment and the classes that are offered, the courses, the majors, and all of the great things, and even the Christmas concert. So thank you again. And congratulations to our Walter Y. Murphy Scholarship recipients, but also to the donors for your recognition. As Dr. Baxter said, we change lives through the contributions that we make as Rotarians. And so if you are interested in making a contribution, I know Joe can make that happen for you. So see him after the meeting or at any time that you have that interest. I would also like to thank Andy. Where did he go? He was so fabulous in helping us set all of this up. from checking on the menu that we wanted to getting the shuttle arranged to just everything. So thank you, Andy. We really appreciate that. Next week, we'll be back at the country club. We'll have John Lanier with the Ray C. Anderson Foundation will be our speaker. And then the following week, we'll hear from Get Georgia Reading. So two very exciting programs coming up. And then on the 27th, we will not meet. Be back in December. Don't forget to come up to do the photo at the end of the program. And thank you again to our visitors and guests. And it was also exciting to see so many Rotaract students. So great to know that that is growing as well. And then last thing, if you all would stand and join us, we'll do the four-way test. And so this will be a test of how well you know the four-way test because we don't have the banner. So I have a little cheat sheet up here. So anyway, okay, the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. We're dismissed.
Awesome.